Story time from the club. So I was in Atlanta at a club, and I was hanging out with some notorious pickup artists from the area. And we went to this one particular club, and I'm kind of shadowing a guy who had been out there doing it a lot more than I ever did. And so he's kind of like saying, oh, hey, go talk to this girl, go talk to this girl. So I'm just kind of like walking around the club, following his instructions. And we passed by this one girl, and she's talking to some, dude, like some big ass dude, right? And he reaches his hand out and to high five her, so she goes to high five, but like he ends up like interlacing fingers and like locking and making eye contact with her. Okay, this is why this dude is like standing off to the side, like kind of losing the battle at this point, right? So he's actually trying to teach me, throughout this experience. And so he calls me over, and then he kind of like passes her off to me and says, oh, have you met Benny? He's an MMA fighter. I'm not a fighter. I just train jiu-jitsu. But he's like, yeah, he's an MMA fighter, blah, 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 blah. And her eyes go immediately wide at me. Okay, keep in mind, like 2 seconds before this, I'm like getting rejected by the other girls I was talking to because I'd never been in a club environment before. So I'm trying to figure out like how to approach the right way and all this kind of stuff. But immediately the status was transferred from my buddy who was comfortable in the environment by him passing her off to me. She was instantly into me, which I could tell from her eye contact and the way she was playing with her hair and all this stuff. Just by way of the introduction, okay? So actually, at this point, the two dudes that were kind of like standing by and the one guy that was talking to her, they start like doing everything they can to try to like jump into the situation. So one guy's like, hey man, don't you see that you're making her uncomfortable? Blah, 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 blah. And it's like me, my buddy, and her like in this triangle, and she's like super into it. She's like eating up everything that we say, right? And we're just joking around and stuff. And like the guy's like off to the side, like trying to like lean in and like and tool us out, basically. Now, luckily to this point, I had consumed enough advice about how to operate in the club and all this kind of thing to know just to kind of like shut him out, because we already had the girl's attention. So it was kind of interesting that so I just kind of like held my ground. We were having the conversation with the girl, and it was kind of interesting that the guys actually resorted to like trying to move us. I kid you not, this guy puts his hands on me, and he's literally trying to pull me. Now, in that moment, I could have got mad and turned and be like, hey bro, why you putting your hands on me, blah, 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 blah. Why would I do that? Because I was already winning the fight, because I already had the girl's attention. I just kind of shut him out. Eventually, the dudes had no choice but to just go away. And it goes to show that if you've already got the girl's attention, you don't need to be worried about the guys around you. And also, it goes to show that the bolder the approach, the better. The one guy came in weak, we're soft, and my buddy came in strong, and that's why we won that interaction.